Hello everyone, my name is Niagara Tonolli. I am a documentary filmmaker for French
Volume.
television and former marketing and PR manager. I apologize, I wish I could be here with you live today, but I will be filming a documentary this afternoon, so I have some interviews to conduct, so I'll be on the field and unable to connect on time. So there's still a few things I would like to discuss with you. So I have recorded this message. I would like to talk about the power of storytelling from PR to documentary filmmaking. What makes the story compelling? What makes people connect, engage, and take action? I think that in PR and marketing, storytelling is about shaping perceptions, building trust, making people care. We craft narratives that bring brands to life, but storytelling is just more than a tool for engagement. It's also a responsibility because whether in marketing or documentary filmmaking, you have to choose how you want to tell the story. Are you here to chase shock value, for example, and sensationalism, or are you here to create stories that will resonate, inspire, empower people? So you have to ask yourself that. And as someone who has worked in both those fields, I have learned that usually the best stories are not only about what you decide to show and having something very catching, but how you decide to frame it. And by that, what I mean is how will you tell this specific story and in which way, and what do you believe is important for the audience to know and to see, to be able to have compassion with the people, to be able to be inspired by such action, or to be empowered by a specific product or service. And so, to me, the impact of perspective is extremely important. And let me tell you a story of this documentary I filmed. It was in 2022. Before the war in Palestine, I was working on a documentary about women who were conceiving children while their husbands were in Israeli prisons. And they were staying in those prisons for a long time without the right to conjugal visits. So they found a way, as an act of defiance against occupation. They smuggled their sperm outside of the prisons so that their wife on the other side could, through IVF, have children. And those children, they call them ambassadors of freedom. I think this is such a powerful name, but very, very difficult, almost a burden to live with such a name. And I could have chose to tell this story in a way that's focused on the desperation. Okay, so you have the woman alone, raising children with the absent father. It's very difficult. They struggle. They live in very difficult conditions. That can make the headlines, sure. But what I was interested in really was the message on resilience and hope. Like, no matter what, you tell me that I will not be able to have children, but I'm going to show you that I will have those children. And those children, they are also a way of showing that we are continuing the fight no matter why, no matter how. But this time, not with weapons, but through life. And this was, to me, such a powerful story. And the father who will be in prison for 40 years, and the only thing that will keep him alive is knowing that he has a boy who carries his name and his dreams and who will have a future. Or this child who everyone will accuse of, you are going to be a fighter like your father, you're going to take the arms to fight, and he will say no. I want to be a firefighter. I want in the future to build houses for my people. So this is the kind of stories I want to tell and I want to film through my documentaries. We can think that the same event drains hope, and you have another one that builds it. And the same applies to branding in communication, in my opinion. For example, you have a crisis PR campaign and you can focus on damage control. Or it can also highlight growth and change. A marketing message can push the fear of missing out, but it could also inspire people to be part of something bigger. So great storytelling, I would say, is about perspective, and the perspective is a choice that you will make, which is why I was talking also about responsibility. Now, when you're crafting a brand story or filming a documentary, you have the same goal. You want people to care. You want people to care about a product, a service you're selling, or a story that you want to share with your audience, and you want people to engage with it, to feel it, and to would want maybe to make a change also. And I've spent maybe a decade shaping narratives, but what I found is that no matter the medium, the strongest stories, they follow the same principles. First of all, you want to make it human. You want people to connect with people, not concepts. For example, if you have a brand campaign about sustainability, it wouldn't be compelling until you know how it will be able to change one person's life. Second is the power of images, of course. Words tell the story, but images can make people feel it. I will tell you a story of the documentary I filmed last year here in Armenia. So it was a story about Armenian refugees from Artsakh territory that we've lost in the war against Azerbaijan. I was very, very heartbroken to see all these people losing their land that they have inhabited for so long, forever. And I visited this young man, Haik. Haik didn't tell me how hard it was to leave his home. He couldn't. He simply couldn't find the word. There are no words to explain it. But he asked me a question, and this question is still haunting me today, somehow. What sound does the door make when it closes for the last time? With this one simple question, I could picture it in my mind, imagining myself closing the door of my house, knowing that I would never return, that I only have a tiny backpack with a few things I could collect, and closing this door and imagining the noise. And even though I didn't live something like this, I could feel it somehow. And I think I didn't need him to describe even more than that his loss. I saw it in the room where he was staying, this very, very small room where he was living with his father, his mother, his two sisters. And I saw in a corner a suitcase, very dusty, old suitcase. Next to a window there was a dried flowers in a beer bottle, and a suit hanging in a corner. And with all of this, I filmed all of this, of course, and through those images, 3, 4, 5 images, I was able to tell a story without words, a story that people understand and can feel. So I think in marketing, the same rule would apply. Instead of saying that, for example, a product is life changing, you can show how it fits into someone's life. Instead of listing the company values, you can illustrate them through actions. Fourth would be to tell stories that last. Sensationalism, it fades. Clickbait will be forgotten. But stories that will inspire will stay. And some can stay forever. So whether it is in business or in media, I think that the most impactful narratives that you will find are the ones that will not just grab the attention of the audience, that will make them change perception, question themselves, see the world that surrounds them differently, or even sometimes want to take action to change it. So, yeah, in my opinion, I would say that storytelling is maybe one of the most powerful tools that we have as marketers, but also as human beings. And I think that whether we use it to build a brand, to shape a reputation, to capture human resilience, with that power comes great responsibility, because we can choose to create stories that will exploit emotions for engagement, or you can decide to create stories that will move people towards something greater. And to me, this is magic. So as communicators in PR, marketing, in the media, you can ask yourself, are we just selling, or are we actually building trust? Are we chasing just attention, or are we shaping an impact for today, for people, for the future? Are we telling stories that will disappear in a second, or are we telling stories that truly matter and will stick? Because the best stories, they're not just told, they are felt. I often say, people ask me, why did you work on this documentary? What compelled you to tell this story? How did you find it? And to me, and that's why I honestly feel, and this is what happened every single time. I don't choose the story. The stories choose me. I read a book and I hear about the specific country where the specific thing happens, and then I become curious. I see a photography, and I don't know, something happens in my body, and I'm attracted to this, and I feel the need to tell the story and give a voice to those who are voiceless. So I will finish saying that today we are here to celebrate those who have mastered this craft, women who are shaping the future of communication with their vision, with their dedication, with their integrity. And I want to say to all your award recipients that your work is more than just strategy, content, or selling. It is influence, it is impact, it is change, and it is, of course, a great responsibility. So your voices, they matter, your stories matter, and I hope that you will continue to tell them with the same passion and the same purpose that brought you all here today. So congratulations to all of you, and I thank you very, very much for listening to me. Bye-bye. Thank you.